So now let's talk about my opinion of this case. Without knowing all of Terrence Graham's criminal history as a juvenile, it would be hard to argue that he deserved to be tried as an adult. It is unknown exactly what his previous crimes or charges were because juvenile records are sealed. However, the original case in which Terrence was charged, he was never holding a weapon, nor did he have any prior knowledge that his co-defendant was going to strike the restaurant owner with the metal bar. We only know that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong set of friends. But it is known that since his time in prison, he has only had a few write ups on his disciplinary record, and none of them were for assaults or aggressive behavior. Not many people can say that they grew up with a past like Terrence. Parents using your home as a crack house, physical abuse, problems in school, drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and being homeless as a juvenile. I do believe that these factors, along with his age, should have been mitigating factors in the determination of where the charges should have been placed. However, I do understand that the charges that he was charged with are very serious crimes and they did involve an assault and batter. So the big question is, was he guilty? Do I think he was guilty? I do believe that Terrence was guilty of attempted burglary and assault and batter and attempted armed robbery, which he was ultimately convicted. Although he was not the one carrying the pipe on his person, he is still liable for those actions of the people with him when committing a crime. However, I do not believe that he should be sentenced the same unless it can be proven that he had prior knowledge that the other co-defendant intended on using the pipe against the owner. The way that I read the case, Terrence and his friends were unaware that anyone was going to be there, and the owner surprised them by being there. They had someone that was in the restaurant earlier, unsure whether it was a friend that worked there or someone that was just there, but they had left the back door unlocked for them to come in, so they did not expect anyone to be there. I do not feel as though Terrence received a fair trial, or I'm sorry, a fair sentence, either at his first sentencing or his last. Life without the possibility of parole for a teenager that committed a non homicidal offense is irrational on many levels. The Supreme Court even noted in their decision that at the time there were 129 juveniles serving sentences of life without parole for non homicidal crimes. 77 of those 129 juveniles had been sentenced in Florida courts, and the other 52 were spread out among 10 other states. The United States and Israel were the only countries that would sentence a juvenile to life without parole. But more shocking is that the United States is the only country in the world that would sentence a juvenile to life without parole for non homicidal crimes. The sentence that was initially handed down was preceded by quite a lengthy speech by the judge stating that Terrence had a host of people trying to help him, including his family, the court system, and the preceding judge that allowed the plea agreement. However, Terrence had no family support to speak of. The courts had already deemed him an adult and proceeded to sentence him as such. And in my opinion, the judge accepted the plea agreement in order to speed along his court docket. Nothing that the judge said in way of support for Terrence did he have. So, what does Terrence Graham's future hold for him? So, although Terrence has not been released yet, I do believe that there is hope that he is and can be rehabilitated. The Orlando Sentinel reported that during his resentencing, Terrence had several correctional officers testify to his character while he's been incarcerated. They stated that he mostly stayed in his room, reading and writing, and avoiding getting into trouble with other inmates. It was also stated that most inmates sentenced to life without parole are not allowed to take GED classes. However, Terrence showed such a desire and maturity unusual for younger inmates to learn and obtain his GED. He was allowed to take the GED class and receive the top score. Terrence then went on to help tutor other inmates wanting to obtain their GEDs. It appears Terrence is trying to make the best of a bad situation while trying to improve himself and his chances of reintegration when he is finally released from prison. So I really thought this quote out of the Supreme Court decision speaks volumes, especially for Terrence's case. And this was cited by the judge that was issuing the opinion. It states, "This sentence means denial of hope. It means that good behavior and character improvement are immaterial. It meant that whatever the future might hold in store for the mind and spirit, he will remain imprisoned for the rest of his days." So, no matter how good he's done, how much he might have in front of him, if he was to stay with this sentence of life without parole, he would have no future. Thank you.